Hi, third graders. For social studies today, you're going to need your social studies packet and a pencil. If you're not ready with those materials, that's okay. Pause the video and go get them because we're going to be doing some reading today in social studies and taking notes. Okay, now that you have your materials, we can start our lesson. It's very important that you follow along with this one, because you're going to be doing the next one on your own as an assignment in Schoology. So let's go ahead and get started. Please open up your booklet to page 6 and page 7. On page 6, you're going to find a reading passage about the landforms of Michigan. On this page 7, there's some guided notes that we're going to fill out as we read. Now you'll notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4 landforms, and over here there are 5 parts. You'll notice here though there's another type of landform that we did include in those. Okay, so each paragraph goes along with a section of the guided notes. Now, this top part we will fill out at another time, so ignore the top part and let's get into the reading. The first landform we're going to read about is something called peninsulas. Peninsulas. Landforms are natural characteristics of the earth. They include mountains, hills, valleys, plains, plateaus, and islands. When you look at a map of Michigan, the first landform most people think about is a peninsula. That's because Michigan is made of 2 peninsulas, the upper and the lower peninsula. So we read the section. Now we're going to go over to our notes. The first thing we're going to do is write the landform. The landform from that section is its heading, peninsula. So I'm going to write peninsula. Remember, if I ever go too fast, feel free to pause the video to catch up. Okay, now we're going to fill in the words to help with the definition. Blank, surrounded by blank on 3 sides. So I'm going back into my writing, or into my reading, and it doesn't say that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and help you out with that. A peninsula is land surrounded by water on 3 sides. Now, the reading we did do gives us an example. It gives us 2 examples, the upper peninsula and the lower peninsula. You only need to write down 1 example. If you want to write down more than 1, that's great. One big hint to show me it's an example is it's because it's a name. So it starts with a capital letter. So I'm going to write the example lower peninsula. If you also want to write upper peninsula, you can. I'm making sure to have those capital letters. Just like I saw in my reading. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph. This one has 2. We're going to read about mountains and mountain ranges. Compared to the states like Vermont and Colorado, Michigan is not very mountainous. Much of it is level with some rolling hills. The upper peninsula does have 2 mountain ranges, however. Mountain ranges are rows of connected mountains. Michigan's 2 ranges are called the Huron Mountains and the Porcupine Mountains. Michigan's highest point is Mount Arvin. It is located in the Huron Mountains and is about 2,000 feet high. Holy moly, that is tall. So we're going to come over here. The first landform we're going to write about is a mountain. Now we need to fill in the blank for the definition. Very blank. Very blank. Well, I know mountains are very tall. Natural place on land. And it is higher than a hill. Okay, now I'm going to come over and I'm going to look for some examples. There are a bunch of examples here. The Huron Mountains, the Porcupine Mountains, and Mount Arvon. Since I'm just doing one mountain, I'm going to write this for my example, but any of those would do. So Mount Arvon. Now, this paragraph also had the term mountain ranges. That's when lots of mountains are connected together. It is a row of connected mountains. Now going back to the paragraph, I already wrote Mount Arvon, so I need to pick either the Huron Mountains or the Porcupine Mountains. I think it's so fun to say porcupine, so I'm going to go there. And actually, I have been there before when I went up north. So I'm going to write this one, but you could also write this one. Remember, these examples are the words with the capital letters. We capitalize places, names of places. Again, please feel free to pause the video if you need it. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph. Islands. I know it looks like the word island, but that's not a word in English. So this is how you say island. Because Michigan has so much water, it also has a lot of islands. An island is a piece of land that is completely surrounded by water. More than 500 islands belong to Michigan. Michigan's largest island is Isle Royale, which is located in Lake Superior. Isle Royale is Michigan's only national park. Other important islands include Beaver Island and Mackinac Island. I know it looks like it says Mackinac, but the correct way to pronounce that is Mackinac. And we're going to talk about why it's pronounced that way when we learn about Michigan's history. So our next section in our notes is called Islands. Now this definition is actually found right in the reading. I see the word surrounded and I see the word surrounded. So I'm going to back up a little bit. Island is a piece of land that is completely surrounded by water. A piece of land that is surrounded by water. Now again, there were many examples in here. The first one I see is Isle Royale. Now here I see something called Lake Superior. This is not an island. That's a lake. So you have to kind of use the clue in the name, whether it's an island or not. Here, National Park is not an island. That's the name of a park. Over here, we see Beaver Island and Mackinac Island. So there's 3 islands that they name. You just need to write down one. I'm going to write down Mackinac Island. It looks like Mackinac. And I chose this one because I've been there before. It's where I went on part of my honeymoon with my husband. All right. Again, pause if you need to. Let's read the final paragraph about sand dunes. This is my least favorite landform. I don't like sand dunes. They are very hard to climb. Very hard to climb. I've been there. All right, let's focus, Mrs. Calds. Probably Michigan's most famous landforms are sand dunes. These are hills of loose sand that have been piled up by the wind. Most of Michigan's sand dunes are found along the shores of Lake Michigan. This area has the largest amount of freshwater sand dunes in the world. Sand dunes support many plants and animals that cannot be found anyplace else. Michigan's most famous dunes are the Sleeping Bear Dunes. Okay, let's come to our chart. The final landform is sand dunes. So they are, and again, I'm taking this from the text, hills or piles of loose sand, piled up by the wind. And again, I found the word piled up to help me with that. Finally, we need an example in Michigan. We see some words that are capitalized, like Lake Michigan, but like above, that is the name of a lake, not a sand dune. We see the example down here, Sleeping Bear Dunes. I went to Sleeping Bear Dunes a few years ago. Oh, it's not my jam, not my favorite place to go. It is very hard. You have to be very athletic to go up the sand dunes. I'm curious if any of you have been there or enjoy doing that. Sleeping Bear Dunes. Okay, again, don't worry about the top. We are going to fill out the top together in our next live lesson. For now, make sure you understand how we read it and how we filled it out, because your next assignment will be to read the next page and fill out this section. The only thing you have to worry about is that 2 of them got switched. The first, here it goes lakes, then bays. But over here, it's going to be bays, then lakes. And then rivers and waterfalls are the same. Okay? So don't worry about this now. This will be an assignment soon. All you need to worry about is making sure that you got this filled out. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.